Well, that's unlikely. Breaking news, you say. Hold on, Parrish. What do you got for us?
Well, as you see in the ticker, Alex Kane will not be able to appear today as he does have some conflict going on. It is not anybody's fault, so please do not say anything negative about Alex Kane, as this stuff does happen, and we do wish him the best as he has planned to reschedule and come on at a later time.
That's right.
But welcome, everyone.
Yes, unfortunately, Olay is not Beaumaye today, but we will reschedule for a later date. But regardless of that, it is a long weekend. We're having a lot of fun. We are the Brunch Busters. I'm Bobby Munson, the man beside me. You heard that name just a little bit ago, but he deserves a better introduction than that. He is Chris Parrish. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. A little bit sad that Alex Kane is not able to come here. Would love a chance to meet him, but in due time, patience is a virtue. But I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing even better because, you know what, we've got an active chat going on here, and that's exactly what we love, because if we're going to change the direction of the show here today, we're going to do so with some good friends. That includes Brian Carter, my man. How's it going? Saying let's go. I know you were stoked to do a little smack talking about Alex Kane, but just pump the brakes, man. We're going to get him here for you, and then you can do all the smack talking you want. And then he can stick that uppercut. We'll get him here for you. We want to make sure that Alex Kane is good and ready to give a verbal beating of you, Brian, here in the chat. It's going to happen sooner or later. We will make that reschedule happen. Barry Monkey, how you doing? But on the plus side, I'm here. You're very lucky, and I have no social life, and it costs you. You know what? We're glad you're here. You're always a fun person in the chat. We love having you here. Very interactive. Help us go off the rails here this Sunday. We're going to have a lot of fun. And, of course, our good friend Joshua Joseph joining us. That's a Munson and Parrish. Let's go. You got it, my man. It's going to be a fun time. As we said, be active in that chat. If you're a first-time person here, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, do all that kind of fun stuff, and help spread the word of OLE. Chris, what's up?
Yeah, if you're also on the YouTube, though, don't forget to give us that thumbs up, as it does help us out in the long haul, and we definitely appreciate that if you can do that. But just out of curiosity, if we have that, if Brian Carter's saying he can stick the Opera Cup where the sun doesn't shine, does that mean he'll do that when the fat lady sings?
Maybe, just maybe.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I guess now. Yeah. But this does give us an opportunity now to kind of just shoot the breeze about the professional wrestling that we've been watching lately, as we've been very busy with guests lately. So we haven't had a lot of chances and opportunities to do that. So let's kind of like open up the forum to everyone in the chat as well, because, well, let's face it, like we have topics like usual, but let's see what the people want to talk about. In the words of an American Nightmare, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, that's right. You guys get in your question, the comments, and whatever fun
and until that happens, I'm just going to start off with the first topic as we see, just so everyone has a chance to kind of type in and think of something. In less than 1 week, and of course, the old rookie mistake of not having the proper color.
Changing color, but while you're changing that color, Parrish, our good friend Basser saying, "Good day, gents." Basser, long weekend, buddy. How you doing? I know that you've been at home a little longer than usual. You've had the week off. How has the holiday been, my man? Hope you're enjoying that. Brian Carter saying, "You can do it with your belt, Parrish." And then Josh coming in. Did you hear Cody called out Brock and Roman at a dark show on the mic? I did not actually hear that. Did you hear about this, Parrish?
No, it was really dark though. I couldn't see anything. But
John Cena might have been there too. Just couldn't tell.
Yeah, but no, I mean, that's what one of the best parts about the live shows are the fact that you get to see kind of things like that happen. I remember if you go back to the old Stone Cold interviews that he had on the network, that very interesting and informative interview he had with Dean Ambrose at the time. Can't say that with a straight face because that was boring and awkward. But he did say he liked, Ambrose did say he liked that kind of stuff because it creates the narrative of the fight. And just little things like that. So I love the fact that they're just keeping the storyline that much like in sync with even the house shows. Because I know the house shows, you kind of tend to have a little bit more freedom. You don't necessarily have to follow the script to a T as much as a televised show, but it's good that they're still doing that and making you still want to watch the match. Because again, in about a week's time, actually exactly in a week's time, you're going to have to tune into the Night of Champions live from Saudi Arabia to see that next match.
Time because that's Saturday. We're on Sunday here, so that's only 6 days away from Night of Champions.
Hey, some people are behind. All right, some people are just behind. Speaking of which, hey Ed, how you doing?
Oh man, that's the way you're going to treat our good friend OLED as he enters the chat. Come on, man.
He's my competition on Wrestle Draft that you can find live every Wednesday night and on YouTube every Saturday. So, yeah.
You can also catch the replay of OLED joining myself and Papa Smokes Thursday night on Ring Respect Radio. We had a blast talking to PCW Ultra. Would love to have Ed back again. We had a great time. Barry Muggy saying, I've been out gardening, lost track of what plants and what weeds, so cut the lot down. I'll assume anything that survives is weeds, and I'll mourn the loss of anything that doesn't return. Probably cost a bit. This sounds like my nightmare every single time the warm weather starts to roll around, Barry. So I can sympathize with you on that as well too. And Ed saying that was a great day. Yeah, we had a blast, man. Thursday night was awesome. So yeah. Should we go back to our topic or get to our topic?
I mean, we can. I mean, that I think is a productive thing to do. I don't know. I mean, we go off the rails so much. Who knows what production is anymore?
Talk some wrestling on this wrestling show, maybe, possibly.
Just a little bit. But yeah, no, we are going to see the crowning of, I guess, either a first ever or the next WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And it's going to be Seth Rollins or it's going to be AJ Styles. And despite what you think of this title, this match is going to be amazing. Like, it's going to be a solid match. And I can't wait to see just the match itself. I know early picks still have Seth Rollins as the favorite to win, as a lot of rumors and stories coming out are saying he's still pegged as Triple H's guy. But with his scheduling conflicts with the new Captain America movie entitled New World Order, which is kind of funny. He is supposedly scheduled to miss
for life.
Yeah, he's scheduled to miss some TV tapings down the road. So with all that in mind, maybe AJ Styles does win and come to Monday Night Raw. But I mean, I still think I'm going to put my money on Seth Rollins, but it's a curious conundrum.
Well, it's especially
as no kid will ever say.
It's especially curious because here is the thing: is that they came out and started smack talking Roman for not being a weekly defending champion, and how this was going to be the title to make that difference. And you're going to go put it around a guy who is going to go off and do a movie. That's fine. That's perfect. That's great for him. I'm happy that Rollins gets that opportunity. But you do all this smack talking only to go put it on some guy who's going to possibly have time off immediately afterwards to go film said movie. Might do really well in it. And especially if you're tying yourself to a Marvel movie, depending on what your character arc is in the movie, could be tied to other potential movie roles within the MCU as well too. And speaking of the MCU, you guys ever want to check out the best in Marvel talk, that's what you want to do with our good friend Ed Fries, Andre C, and sometimes Cody Defoe when they review all the stuff Marvel related. But I think that this is just kind of funny to me because for all the way that they presented this, now again they would be going against the grain of what they said this championship was supposed to be.
Yeah, and as Ed's saying, Captain America 4 won't even be out till next year. I think it's May 2024, if I'm not mistaken. But I think there's a difference between a Roman Reigns who barely just went to Raw without stuff on the go. He just had that off time to a situation where, guy is doing a movie for like a couple months. To me, it's a different situation. I understand what you're saying 100% because you do want that every week guy, but he's going to be like Seth Rollins will be gone for like maybe a week or two, opposed to a guy like Roman who just never bothered to go to Raw until it's lining up to a big 4 PLE or pay-per-view. I think it's different. What I do like what they're doing with Seth Rollins in the last couple of weeks is they have sit-down interviews with Corey Graves. And one of the ones that they kind of ended the first part of the interview on was how Seth Rollins views Roman Reigns' title reign. And what's fun about this, it sounds like it's more of a just let us know what's truly on your mind type of interview, not a work interview. So I'm very curious about kind of how that goes. And I wonder if this is something to kind of tease maybe a rivalry within a show and a company between Roman and Seth.
And see, it's interesting you bring that up too, because if there's one thing that annoys me about Seth is some of his character work and the forced laugh that he does and just that over-the-top kind of garbage that he presents sometimes. And he's a hell of a performer inside the ring, but those forced promos that he does annoy the hell out of me. But when he does these sit down ones, when he's being a little bit more honest, being a little bit more real, and even going back to when he was going against Riddle and he had that one that turned into a bit of a shoot one, despite it being kind of a planned shoot, that works. That's effective. Seth can talk. I just don't like it when it feels like Seth is trying really hard to be a character as opposed to just going out there and being one of the best in-ring performers that is currently out there in this generation.
Yeah, and I really wanted to touch on this aspect because I was watching this and I'm like, you know what? It feels like it's really hard for Seth to remain this character if he's talking like the shoot way. And right before he went to answer like the question before they panned out, he then like looked down, took off the sunglasses and said, I kind of had a feeling you're going to go there. And it just seemed like it struck a chord or a nerve, as you want to say. So I thought that was really interesting just to kind of see now, because when it came to Roman Reigns, we saw this when the two actually had their match at, was it a few Rumbles ago? I believe it was.
Something like that. Yeah. I believe you're right.
I thought that was some of Seth's best work in that character because it brought things back to being real. The Shield was real to them. That's how they all started. It was voted as WWE's top debut, which, I mean, let's be honest, it's an opinion thing, so we don't have to really divulge into that. But it's one of those things where even Roman said in that he'll never forgive Seth for that, and Seth takes great pride into it because it made him who he was. So I love that dynamic, and I'm wondering if maybe this is somewhat of a concoction to long-term tell you that Seth Rollins might actually be the guy that beats Roman Reigns and not win the world heavyweight title right away. Or maybe he wins that world heavyweight title and something happens to where Roman screws him out when there's a joint show or something along those lines, because I don't understand why they're putting Roman against Seth right now if the eventual outcome isn't an actual match or a feud with those two.
Yeah, it's a very strong point. Before we go any further with that, I just want to say that the message just came up on Twitch, but Basser just subscribed again to the channel for a 5th month in a row. Nice. Basser, my man, as you know, you get one of these right there from me. Thank you so much for the subscription. We do appreciate everything you guys do for us. Subscribes on Twitch, subscribes on YouTube, thumbs up, follows, shouting out the word of OLE. It all helps, and we really do appreciate everything you guys do for us. So, Bastard, thank you. 5 months in a row, my man. That is effing awesome. Try not to drop the big F bombs here too. It's too much to.
You know what? I have a challenge actually. I don't think I've actually challenged people to do this in this way.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We always get our guests to come in and do the big Ole, right? It's the Ole Pod Challenge.
Ole.
But that doesn't mean, Chet, that you can send us in your Ole Pod Challenge. Ooh. So if you're listening to the Ole Pod right now, I challenge you to the Ole Pod Challenge. Send us your best rendition of Ole, because I think a little video of a compilation of all the Oles is in the mix. Maybe one can actually be a part of it.
I was even thinking like putting the video together and stuff like that. If we can even get a multitude of them and try to get it to go in that pattern of Ole, 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 as Basser accepted the challenge. I knew what a trooper.
But
and apparently you can't handle Josh's Ole there, Parrish.
I mean, we had Bougie and our own Lauren Goodnight do it. If you think you can top those
were good.
Show us.
There's been some really creative ones, I gotta say. Like among the various guests we've had on various shows and stuff like that, there's been some solid Ole action so far.
We were going to
Speaking
get
of
the
action,
Boom
though, Seth
Ole
Rollins and
Fight
AJ
Club
Styles.
sound chant tonight, by the way. Almost. We'll do that. Not the Boom Aye, but the Boom Ole.
Boom Ole.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you know, speaking of great action, I just want to touch on. I mean, we're talking a lot about Seth Rollins and stuff like that. Like, and you don't want to count AJ Styles out. AJ Styles just recently returning from a long period of time out, and it has felt very, very long that he has been gone. Great to see him back. Obviously, a great professional inside that ring, always putting on an A+ performance, and he's going to do the same with Seth Rollins, win or lose. You know that this is not going to be a slouch of a match. These two are going to go out there. They're going to give it 110%, and they're going to tear the house down. Clearly, of the entire card for Night of Champions, from what I've seen, this is the match I'd be most invested in, even though I'm not invested in the World Championship. I don't care about the championship. If this was just a one-off match even, I'd still be more invested in this than most of that card.
What I'm liking is just the dual stuff going on for both guys. You have Seth Rollins kind of with that, the shout out to Roman. But what you also saw on Friday Night SmackDown was AJ Styles appearing on the Grayson Waller effect. And it looks like they're about to restart and rekindle that little rivalry between Grayson Waller and AJ Styles on SmackDown. So it's interesting to note that perhaps one Grayson Waller could make his presence known in this match as well. I love all the possibilities in this match, that even though we're looking at this as an amazing match, AJ Styles, like I said, this could be his last real run in within WWE. But I also am looking kind of ahead and kind of past this and being like, okay, what's next for these guys? And Grayson Waller is biting on the heels of AJ Styles right now. And I'm very intrigued with how that's going to go, because, man, I think Grayson Waller is going to be a stud on SmackDown. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, this match, I still think it's a lot more close than people expect. And I actually think that this intrigue is clearly going to make this match the main event of Night of Champions.
If you would have told me a few years ago while I was writing articles that young Matty Wahlberg would eventually make his way over to NXT, I would have believed you. And he did. If you would have told me that he would be featured heavily in the potential stories like this on SmackDown by 2023, I might have been a little less inclined to believe he'd be that far that quickly. But, you know, kudos to him for his hard work and determination, and for the company trusting in his talent as well, too.
Yeah, like, I don't know. And, like, obviously we'll talk a lot more about this on next week when we do the paper preview show, which I believe it'll be myself, Ed, nuts. And Astro Pizarro. So make sure you're tuning into that. But yeah, no, I mean, it's something that this is a match where you need all your energy for. And if you don't have enough energy, make sure you go to rogueenergy.com and use our promo code OLEPods and get 10% off your order. But also check in some of their flavors. This is the blue raspberry, and the strawberry kiwi is now in stock once again.
Fancy. Sounds good to me. Check out Rogue Energy. And what a segue. I like that. That was a beautiful touch on the segue right there. That was fantastic.
I thought it was good.
You know, I mean, people are going to need that Rogue Energy next week, because, like, OLE is going to be on the air every single day pretty much next week. There is something happening, whether it's pre-records, live stuff, lots of live stuff, especially next weekend. Man, we've got everything covered for next week here on the channel. It's going to be phenomenal.
We really do. But you know who doesn't have anything covered right now? Liv Morgan.
Oh, no.
She is out with an injury that she has sustained in a match. And her and Raquel Rodriguez relinquished the tag team titles because of this injury. And now a 4-way on Monday Night Raw is set to make new champions. Whereas Raquel is in the match, but she needs to find a new partner, which to me just is stupid. To me, I would have just put in somebody else as a tag team. But then you also have the teams of Io Sky and Bailey, and then you also have Shayna and Ronda Rousey, which, okay, that's interesting, but they look like they're the heads-on favorite. But then you also have Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green, who I think is the dark horse to win this match.
I mean, first of all, not on Night of Champions. Here's where they're missing the mark again.
Yeah.
It's called Night of Champions. Use your champions. Stop making your champions in tag matches for other championships and put all your damn titles on the line. Jesus Christ, WWE. Follow your own damn rules. Anyway, beside that and my rant that I could go on for an hour and a half about when booking pisses me off. Yeah, this sucks for Liv Morgan. I mean, obviously, she's going to come back red hot when she comes back from the injury. Yeah, good morning, the Shane Saw 86. Thanks for joining us, Astrid, coming in. Thank you for joining us as well, too, Astrid. Great to see you out. Why are the Unholy Union not in this? Huh? I obviously don't want.
And that was,
who's the
Unholy Union is they are the current NXT Tag Champions that happen to be drafted to SmackDown, and that is Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. And this is where I was wondering if they may or may not say backstage beat up Raquel Rodriguez and take their place, or stand across the ring from the winners and say, at Night of Champions, we're unifying these tag team titles. I think that could be very interesting.
Oh, so this is tomorrow's Raw. This is taking place leading before. Yeah. So then they can just go insert. Okay, yeah, of course, insert like random title match onto the card at the last second and not promote it like WWE loves to do. Anyway, beside my point,
it was promoted on SmackDown, and like it's hard when there's somebody who's hurt and is just not medically cleared to compete. There's really nothing you can do to plan for that. So I actually don't fault WWE for that, but it does suck that it always comes at the expense of the tag titles.
But put this match on Raw this Monday night. Just put it on the card for Night of Champions. Like that's my point. Like it's called Night of Champions. Put it on Night of Champions. Like it just. But this seems like that should be one of those big moments. You're crowning new champions on a show called Night of Champions. Why can't they get this right?
So like my line, and this I don't know if this is going to happen. I have no inside information, but my is. They're already crowning a champion at Night of Champions. So instead of doing the same thing twice, if they were to crown new tag team champions on Raw, only to have your NXT champions want a unified tag team women's tag match at Night of Champions, where then you actually no longer have NXT and main roster tag champions. You only have one set that go back to the original idea of floating on all brands. I can get behind that because now you have 4 champions on Night of Champions instead of the 2. And it'll be a hell of a push for Isla Dawn and Alba Fire.
Yes, but by that definition, you're also going on about not doing the same thing twice. Even in amalgamating titles, you're still crowning new champions because somebody's winning that match. Somebody's winning belts they didn't have before. And even in an amalgamation, you're still essentially doing that.
Yeah, but winning another set is different from crowning a vacated champion.
But if you're making them unified, it becomes a new belt, does it not?
Yeah, but they're not vacated though. So that's my thing. Like the world heavyweight title is vacated right now. The women's tag team titles on the main roster are vacated. Unification, I think, is different from winning a vacated title. All right.
No, that's fair. I mean, I just think with 2 weeks to promote, you could promote it a really nice spot for them instead of Monday crowning new champions. Try to build a story that you have under a week to promote for that card. I think that this has been the detriment to the tag division for the women in WWE is it doesn't get the attention it deserves. And yes, they're getting a spotlight on Monday night, but this could have been the spotlight to build the show for this coming Saturday. You have a very small window in which to expand upon what your card is going to be, and your weekly programming should be used to build said cards instead of crowning champions, trying to build a narrative for that immediate payoff within 6 days. it's just my thought on it. I mean, everyone's got different opinions. I just really think that they could have highlighted the women's tag titles better by having it just focused on the Night of Champions card itself. Just saying.
Yeah, and I don't disagree unless there's something bigger on the horizon, which I'm curious. That's why I'm saying I'm curious about if they have something else in plan, because I don't think their original plan was this. I think that injury changed a whole lot of
for them. Hell yeah. Yeah. And that shit happens all the time. Like you got to switch plans and everything like that. I get that for sure. 100%.
Yeah. So, because I am hearing more consistent rumors about the fact that both women championships, what was the other one? I think Roman is getting a new one, but there are more redesigns for titles coming. And the tag titles, the men's tags are another one.
Josh, you can make that argument, my friend, but you can make that argument about any of the non-big four pay-per-views for the WWE and stuff like that. And yet Backlash was tremendously successful in the way it was set up, the way it was presented, and the way that it was executed. So I think that just seeing what they are capable of versus the direction it's going with, especially with rushing, like that's the other thing. Like we just came off Backlash and they've got another premium live event. And that's where I see like Josh's point too. Like it comes across like a throwaway make money event, but everything WWE does is a make money event. They're not doing it for free. They're a business. They got to make money. They got to make that bag, as a good friend of ours likes to say. So, I mean, arguably,
that's the problem.
You know, they're going to do what they do. But if you really want to make that money, though, and that's the thing, and you want to make it right, you make a card people remember, and that's what they did with Backlash. They made something that people would remember. And if you have just toss away matchups on Night of Champions, people aren't going to remember so much. But just what I'm thinking anyway. Backlash used to be that, so I feel it just came back. Yeah, and it did. And you know what? Go back to the old days of WCW and all that kind of stuff, and Night of Champions used to be that kind of thing. So bring that back too.
Yeah. Also, I just want to put out this comment from Bear Monkey. I'd keep NXT one separate. Raw and SmackDown work together at the same level. NXT is different. I agree. I just think now with the draft, with the amount of women selected from the main roster from NXT, I don't know if NXT has the depth now for a new women's tag division. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I'd love to make the argument that NXT should always be separate, but the fact that they made women's tag team titles in NXT kind of was interesting. I not to take away from NXT doing that or anything like that. I just find that there isn't enough depth in the roster. Just like I'm the same way. I don't think that there should be 2 men's tag team titles in WWE, period. I don't think there's enough depth in the roster to do multiple tag team champions on the men's side either. So I'm more of an advocate for amalgamating many of the titles that exist within WWE because I think there should be less champions, but it's my personal opinion. I know that a lot of people disagree with that. They want to see more belts. They want to see more of their favorites get to those belts. I enjoy the title chase more than I enjoy the championship runs a lot of the time, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I think too with the tags, just we're so used to not having depth divisions with the tag teams that they almost do feel like throwaway titles as a whole, simply because you just don't have the amount of perceived intrigue as a viewer, I'll say, because we could probably name you like 10 tag teams in the male division, right? But separate them and now all of a sudden you're like, there's not enough TV time to do that with the women's and the women's tag and then the mid card and then the heavyweight titles and then other feuds. There's just not enough TV time for all this. So unifying, I think, tag titles for both genders, men and women, I think is the best way to go, and have floating champions on the tag side and tag side only. Because I understand that when you want a live show, and if you're going to run live shows differently with Raw and SmackDown, I can understand the want of having your own world champion. So I'll give you that one, but the tag titles I think can be separated on the live shows.
Well, exactly. And that's just it, because then it also gives a chance for young talent to come up onto some of these bigger premium live events. So imagine that you're looking for somebody to take on a strong tag team. You got your women's tag team champions. They're looking strong. You want them to look even stronger. What do you do to make them look stronger? You pick up the W's for them. So you take these younger teams that, of course, our wonderful team of Astrid and Ed are letting us know about in the comments section. You can check them out on Taking Over and all our NXT reviews, because they are the experts when it comes to the NXT side. You can take some of these younger talents that they have within NXT and Level Up and everything like that and start to utilize those opportunities. Hey, they're doing really good as a tag team combination over there. Why not set them up for this premium live event we got coming up? Have them go against the champions, and back of everyone's mind going, there's no way they're going to win, but have them go out there, be competitive, have that matchup go competitively to show off that they have the talent, and that with a little bit more work, they will get there. And in that loss, these young teams still look very strong while still allowing your tag champions to look stronger with the amount of racked up victories that they end up getting in their title defenses.
Yeah, and I just want to highlight some comments as Astrid comes in and says, the only tag team I've seen is Lash and Jakara, as they haven't tagged on NXT yet, mostly Level Up. As Ed responded, they're going to try Lash and Jakara, and Faraz and Leon from SmackDown are back on SmackDown. So there's two, maybe just a few more talent and a few more. From what I read on a NXT live event, both these teams, I think, are back in NXT, and I think the usage of Faraz and Leon was just to put over the unholy union there. But yeah, like if there's an attempt, okay, sure. I mean, I'm willing to work with the attempts and the effort, but I still think on the main roster, you need to simplify. You can't have the two sets for the men's, even though I heard that both rosters are going to have their own champions. Josh coming in saying they don't have enough creative writing for legit women matches. I disagree. I think there's plenty of people writing. And
when it's done right, it's done now amazingly. Yeah, like the matches.
A lot of people aren't talking about this, but Brian Kendrick has been a well addition on some of these matches and ideas as well.
Like the women's matches have essentially stolen the show on the last couple of premium live events, including WrestleMania, with Rhea and Charlotte having one of the best matches, period. And then last time out, Backlash, again, the two women's matches were two of the absolute best, with the opener featuring Io Sky being phenomenal. Like, I mean, there is a lot of opportunity there and everything, and the talent's there for sure. But Barry Monkey, I'd have fewer belts and more shorter title runs. I'm sick of the record title runs. It's a lot of companies' records should be broken very, very rare. Yeah, and I know that they want to be able to do that with a lot of their modern stars to smash them over. I'm not saying that they have to have record-running title runs, but I don't really believe in this hot potato of titles either. I believe in a legitimate champion. I believe that you can have a legitimate champion have strong title defenses within the course of 6 to 8 months, even as long as they're actively defending the belt and you're seeing them and stuff like that. Then it makes sense. You can have it stand out as a strong title run, especially if you have a good chase behind it. So if you've got a great heel that's gotten a strong championship run like that, and you build up the right baby face to smash over, eventually winning that title, getting that hero's victory, then it is all worth it. Then you have done your job. It doesn't matter if it's 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, or in some cases 2 years. You've got to do it right and strike while the iron's hot in order to maybe be able to build that talent and get to that point. And that's what I think that's what I think they're pigeonholing themselves in so many ways with some of these long title runs, because they're getting to a point where it's like, well, we haven't done it yet, so who?
And just to kind of like pigtail off that, and kind of what Barry Monkey said, and then go into what Josh has said. I'm the same way. I'm sick of every title run having to be a lengthy one and stuff like that. I understand why they're doing it. They want Roman Reigns to feel like the megastar of today. And one of those big things is, oh, I'm a champion for 1,000 days. I understand this, because in order to feel like a megastar, you have to have the accomplishments. And then you look at somebody like Gunther, who, is now he's no longer slowly becoming a long champion, but what he's doing is creating a bigger legacy for that Intercontinental Champion that honestly nobody has done since The Miz, who didn't always have to have long title reigns to get that done. Sometimes it's your body of work and what you do within that title reign, because you could look at a Charlotte Flair, and I will gladly talk about how much of a failed champion she was, despite the fact she's perceived as a star. And that's because you don't remember the feud she has while being champion. And you can't say that all of the matches that she's had as champion were memorable. But then you look at somebody else in comparison, like say Rhea Ripley right now, we're able to I know it's fresh, but you're having somebody who I think just has a better body of work behind what they're doing, and they make you care about every day they hold a title, opposed to, hey, look, this person is champion still, like Bianca Belair. How many people are just so sick and tired of her title reign? Whereas we look at a guy like Gunther, who has a title just as long, or a Roman just as long, but you have a little bit more intrigue. It's because of the body of the work. And 100%, I believe that. And to go into what Josh is saying, in this day and age, you can get content to the fans. There's no excuse for misstep. WWE continues. Imagine set up sports and driven channels for this company. Blows my mind. One of my major things about this is it's also the way we consume this content. Because I think AEW is a prime example for the way people consume content nowadays. And sometimes quality is not always there, but at the same time, they also push you wanting more and more and more. And sometimes you just can't actually give them more, if that makes sense. That's why they have so many injuries, is because the talent themselves can't sustain it.
It's kind of a double-edged sword when you think about it in a way too, because we're in that way where everybody wants something all the time, kind of thing. I always want new. I want new. A lot of people don't even go back and realize how much they haven't watched at the same time. Like, you've asked for new, and there is all this content available, and maybe only a third of it is truly being fully consumed by all fans. And there's all this other stuff that's just sitting there floating around and stuff like that. And they can't keep giving you more when we aren't even properly consuming what's there. What we got here from Josh? Oh, sorry. Danhausen sits in a basement opening toys. I tune in. Real fans watch. Danhausen's a bit of an anomaly. I mean, Danhausen is both a guy that I find interesting to watch his videos on YouTube, but I don't want him anywhere near a wrestling ring. At the same time, like, maybe as a fun little side character that shows up every once in a while, like the Boogeyman. But at least the Boogeyman had some girth to him. Danhausen just looks like one of those mimes you see on the street that you kind of want to smack upside the head. But I mean, Danhausen is a perfect example of character driven, like Josh is saying, and I'll agree with him there, because Danhausen is a great character actor, and there's a lot of people in wrestling that can be good to great character actors, but their wrestling and what their presentation is, or the why of what they're doing in a professional wrestling ring, just doesn't connect. And that tends to be the issue with some of these over the top characters. And I feel the same about, like the Bray Wyatts of the world and stuff like that too, where it's like extremely character driven and phenomenal at it, but the connection to pro wrestling seems to be lost in the mix there somewhere.
Yeah, and that's just, to me, I think this is always going to be a thing about day and age of, when you have content every day, not everything's going to be the best thing. Sometimes when you have a rare amount, sometimes you have that time in between to look forward to and build that own anticipation of what the next episode or the next viewing of this is going to be. And you live through that anticipation, not always the product. Sometimes you can have a withdrawal on content. You really can. And I think when you have it all the time and you have no ability to escape for a little bit and whatnot, you can just get so dissolved in it to the point where it doesn't have the same effect that if you gave it the real time and let the anticipation creep. I do believe that. I really do. And I think you have to watch. You have to know how you watch and consume pro wrestling, because if you watch it all the time, you're going to get burnt out. Trust me.
Try editing it all the time and see what it does to you.
It's why a lot of professional wrestlers can't say they watch wrestling the way they used to anymore and stuff like that. They don't look at it all the time in a way of captivating with the storylines. They're inspired by it, but at the same time, they look at it in a completely different perspective too. And sometimes that's an energetic way of getting recaptured in the product as well. But this is why in our local establishment, we believe in having variety in our product. And let us show you an example of what that is and what's coming up this week in our local
calendar time, baby. I love it when that calendar is pumping so much that we got to loop back through to the return of the song there. We got so much going down. Now, I will just give a heads up that maybe some of those times aren't 100% with some of the previews and reviews coming out this weekend. So those are some general times of when to expect it, but we'll have announcements coming up throughout the week with confirmed times as well, too.
Yeah, and that is why the best thing is to check out all our socials as you find on the ticker below, just to get all those in real time updates, as we will do that. So make sure not only are you checking out all of our socials there, but anybody specifically, will lead their socials as well. So it's very important to that. And now we'll get back to some of these comments, as Barry Monkey says, I have enough time in the week to watch Impact and NXT. I have to give up to work. I have to give up work to fit in all the WWE and AEW stuff. And yeah, like it's sometimes you just have to make those choices, whether or not you want to, whether or not it's okay. Sometimes it has to be done, because I'll almost guarantee, Barry Monkey, and let me know in the comments, that if you were to watch everything you can and you force yourself to watch everything you can, you might not enjoy the Impact and NXT as much as you do. Let me know if I'm correct on that one. And then Josh coming in and saying, for example, I've seen 3 parish matches. Which ones? But I have hours of watching him talk. I like watching this because I can interact with him instead of yelling as a fan, hoping he tells me to shut up. But I understand your points. Great talk. Trust me, I'm not lazy. I will say a lot more than just shut up. And I did.
I've heard it.
Yeah.
But that's a great point as well too, and it's sometimes it's that interaction, but that's also what makes people connect with the Independent Wrestling League. And you can go to a live show and have that interaction. It's hard to do with consuming the content online, and I mean, obviously, it's great that Josh is able to go out and find that stuff. Oh, look who just hopped in! The boys are back in town, and so is Heel Kevin.
What up, Kev?
What's up, buddy?
Kev, I just wanted to shout out to you for having my back yesterday during your stream when Tesh was saying some some nice things to me. So appreciate you, man. We got to get you back on here. Hit me up.
100%. 100% on here with us. Yeah, that's right. Anybody who has not gone and checked out Heel Kevin over on Twitch and YouTube, go follow, like, subscribe to that dude's channel. One of the best people that we know, always supporting us and showing the love, and does a phenomenal work. You can go check out 100 streams, and they're not going to be nearly as entertaining as what you're getting out of that man on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. I got you. We synced up, brother. Very Monkey coming in and saying I definitely wouldn't enjoy it. I talk to AW and WWE watchers who spend most of their time complaining. I say to them, stop watching so much then. And that's exactly my point. Just watch what you want to watch, enjoy it, and interact with the people you know that enjoy it. Man, we spend too much time on the bullshit, man. Too much time on the bullshit.
This is exactly why, like, I usually, in terms of my wrestling consumption, will watch pay-per-view cards. Premium live event pay-per-view cards are more my thing. I like watching those types of full cards. The weekly programming, not usually my cup of tea. So I will find out if there's something that intrigues me, and I will watch those individual pieces or some of the highlights from it throughout the week so that I don't get overconsumed with it. Of course, MLW, 100% will support them, and I love supporting indie stuff. But it goes back to what you were saying there, Parrish, about, you know, sometimes you hear about people who are within the business and how it changes the way they consume or perceive their pro wrestling watching moving forward. And I didn't think that was even possible, but it is possible. And especially when you spend so much time with that side of it, like even for myself, not being in the ring, but being behind a camera and sitting down and having to put together layers of different video shots from wrestling matches, and you're constantly slowing it down to try to sync things up and stuff like that. You're seeing these moves over and over and over again to the point where you're kind of like, okay, I don't look at it quite the same as I used to when I go to sit down and watch a card is what I would have, you know, prior to getting that involved with things.
Yeah, and just to complete the circle, it's why I can understand some of the bigger names who, like, of the Seth Rollins, of the Roman Reigns, of, like, I can understand why, like, you don't want to work the 300-day schedule in this time of your life. I get it. I actually respect the fact that guys like that stand up for themselves because they understand now that, yes, they still love this. And I don't discount that. And we just saw this with John Cena coming out saying that his body just can't do it anymore. If he could, like, he would still be there. But sometimes you just need to take yourself out and just remember why you fell in love with this. So when you are there, you're giving 100% of your energy to that. And I think that's important. I think a really wise human being knows how to do that. But I want to ask you a question there, Bobby.
Okay, ask away.
You know how one of the biggest gripes in professional wrestling is having something you love and then getting it renamed, and it's just a different version of it.
I wonder where you're going with this one, pal.
Well, I mean, it's not a superstar, but did people know that Monday Night Nitro is coming to AEW, but it's now renamed to Saturday Night Collision?
You had to have some
really
fun
hope
towards
people
the end of the show, didn't you? Just ragging on it a little bit. Hey, look at that logo.
I'm not ragging on it.
Oh, that looks familiar.
I'm curious on their show, but you cannot tell me that does not scream Monday Night Nitro in all the obvious ways.
What was that? Didn't it, like, WCW had a Saturday night show there for a while? Wasn't it Thunder or something like that? Saturday Night Thunder or something like that they had?
I think that was on Thursdays.
Oh, was it Thursdays? Come on, I swear it was a Saturday show for a while. Yeah, like Glacier was one of the featured.
It might have been
featured talents. Remember Glacier? Wasn't Glacier fantastic?
Oh, I remember Glacier. I used to play him on WCW World Revenge all the time.
I mean, they just needed the other Mortal Kombat characters, and they would have been perfect over there. It would have been phenomenal.
I'm just waiting for Aki-Man to make his AEW debut. But no, I mean, you gotta. So a lot of things are coming out. We were joking in the back. All right, before the show that Andrade apparently had no idea he was on this show, and then found out that he was going to be on the show. So to me,
Barry Monkey. Let me touch on this for a second, because Barry Monkey, I've not always been 100% on board with everything AEW does, but same with my WWE content. I'm 50-50 on both companies, depending on what they're putting forward. There's a lot of great talent there. And from what they've said about the roster that's going to be involved with Collision on Saturday nights, minus Orange Cassidy, I was quite a bit more intrigued about they could maybe make this the presentation that could be what they originally wanted, was that kind of more sports feel presentation. Don't sleep on hockey, man. Yeah, just get Parrish popping already. Yeah, that's great. Hi, Alex, Acto guy, joining us. Thank you for joining us. But
we got a conversation within a conversation.
We really do. This is chat's hopping
this
now.
Is Inception.
You guys are good. This is great. You're gonna make Parrish late for work today doing this. It's fantastic.
No,
but I mean, I gotta say, I will give them the benefit of the doubt with the Collision, because the way they're going about it, the roster that they've named and everything, there is a chance that this could be the more sports-based wrestling program. And if that's the case, I'll make time for that, because that's more my flavor. And the talent that's there's some really, really good top quality wrestlers. And if that's the direction they want to go, I'm on board personally.
Like I said, I have an open mind. Do I always watch AEW? No. But I do have an open mind. There are a lot of people there that I do enjoy. A lot of guys there I do enjoy. A lot of girls there I enjoy watching.
Their card for this coming Sunday is great. You got a good card.
I might have time more to watch a Saturday show than I would a Wednesday show. AEW Dark was canceled.
Yeah,
taken off.
I think Rampage is kind of taking over that, if I'm not mistaken. Like, they're going to focus more on the indie talents and stuff like that for a Rampage show on Friday nights. If I'm not mistaken, again, I don't have that backed up with a confirmed. I read this from a legitimate source. That's what I saw.
Are you telling me what you're seeing is that AEW is going to run 3 shows, 2 that are competitive to each other, like a brand extension, and then 1 to focus on the up and coming people? Huh? Tell me where I've seen this before.
The funny part about their brand extensions is kind of like the other company's brand extension, where it's a brand extension that's exclusive to the 2 shows, but only exclusive based on certain people, and champions not necessarily. But depending on storylines, we can bounce back and forth. But billionaire wrestling promoters, get your heads straight, damn it. Like, if it's a divided roster, it's a divided roster. If not, everybody goes wherever they can go and just get it right. To use WWE speak, Dynamite is like Raw, Collision could be SmackDown, and Rampage would be like it. Yeah, that's how I'm perceiving it from what I've seen. 100%.
And then Barry saying, I made this up, is also my frame of reference on wrestling news. I'm just going to say this: once we finalize where we actually can get an online merch thing, I am 100% that is going to be one of our t-shirts, because it has to be.
I made this up. Ole!
I fact checked, but I made this up. I pushed the analytics, and all I can come up with is I made this up.
It's holiday Sunday all across North America, and people are having fun hanging out with us. Fucking awesome.
But yeah, no, I mean, it'll be very interesting. I love how many rumors about this was, CM Punk was going to be there, and then now all of a sudden we don't know. I even read, and I have no idea if that was actually like a real thing or not. But AEW could be looking at other venues outside of Chicago Chicago for Collision now. So I just think that's hilarious if that's the case, because how stupid of a petty reason would that be? Like, Chicago's not one of the hottest crowds out there.
Obviously, so clearly their sponsorship from Mindy's Bakery just fell through at the last minute, so they're looking for other options out there because they make such good muffins.
Why do I feel like somebody is going to be coming out to the Muffin
the hot
Man?
seat?
Like, they're going to play, like, have you seen the Muffin Man for, like, a Chicago-based show sometime like that?
He lives on Drury Lane. That would be fantastic. I hope
Like,
they do now. That's phenomenal.
Yeah,
Muffin
sure
man,
is.
Man.
And everyone, this is the part of the show where the train hasn't even decided to leave the station. It has gone on break and isn't coming back for the day.
Just like our brain that's been on repair for months.
And I have a work day after this. That's ironic. But
hold on, we're gonna bring this up. Josh has had his daughter's softball tournament. Parents are looking at him weird for laughing at this nonsense. The kid just got hit. Oh man, that is a video I hope someone caught. Just you sitting in the stands as some poor little kid got hit in a softball tournament, and you just dying with laughter right there.
Yeah, until he puts it on Instagram, and the song choice he has is "Have you seen the Muffin Man?" And he just changes the baseball to a muffin, and you just get you're just cranking the noggin with the fucking top part of a muffin. That'd be hilarious, Bobby.
Make that happen. Make that happen.
Jiggle it up, Chuckles.
Oh, we've had some fun here on Busting Out.
If that's not our short, I don't know what is.
People are going to lose their shorts over everything I'm going to pull out of this episode.
But Bobby, do you have anything else on the go to say? Are you
what do you mean? Anything else on the go?
I mean, right now,
I am busting a gut. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean. What do I got? I mean, there's tons of stuff on the go. We'll get to that with our wrap up and everything like that. But I mean, of course, you know, in typical news, MLW has been kicking ass and taking names. They're making their comeback now to Fight TV Plus. You're going to be able to get episodes of Fusion on Fight TV Plus, as well as all of their pay-per-views coming up as well too, including July the 8th, when our going to be rescheduled.
Muffins. Sorry.
Do you prefer the muffin tops or the muffin bottoms? No. So anyway, MLW on July the 8th. You never say never. It's going to be the first time that they're going to be live on Fight TV Plus. That is going to feature that main event with our soon-to-be rescheduled guest and soon-to-be new MLW World Heavyweight Champion Alex Kane taking on Alexander Hammerstone. I'm really looking forward to being able to watch that in a live capacity. Definitely myself and Papa Smokes. We put the invite out to Ed Fries to come join us for that too. But Parrish, as always, you're always welcome to hop into shows and streams and chats with us all the time. So please do. We want it to be rocking, and anybody who wants to come join, whether it be in the chat or on screen, like we want to party with this MLW live debut personally. So we're gonna kick it off in great fashion that night. But yeah, I don't know. Like, if we're ready to wrap up the show, I could talk all about what's coming up here this week, because we got a plethora of stuff coming for everybody.
Well, how about you do that, and then you let all the good people where you can find you. And if you don't mind, I'll look at the possible raid as you take care of this.
All right, you do that. And in the meantime and in between time, you can check out that ticker below for finding out where you can reach out to me. This week is going to be one crazy busy week as well too. I'm going to actually be sitting down with Joshua Joseph on Tuesday night. That's going to be on his podcast. Looking forward to that opportunity. So I'm sure that'll come out sometime soon, and I will let all the viewers here at our local establishment know when that sit down interview goes down. Looking forward to that opportunity. It's going to be a lot of great fun. For OLE content though, of course, we got a lot of stuff heading in this week. But what have I got going on? I've got Thursday night with my main man, Papa Smokes, over there on Ring Respect Radio. We're going to be having some more fun over that way, that neck of the woods. I'm also going to be doing the AEW preview shows and post shows this weekend, along with new addition to our local establishment, a former guest right here on Busting Out and has showed up on a lot of great shows here for OLE and with some of our contributors. That is Lauren Goodnight. So it's going to be awesome to have Lauren. Audio. Do we have an audio issue? Am I not coming through? Or is that just on Alex's end? Can't wait for the talk, Bobby. Appreciate it. Okay, so Josh is hearing me, I think. Anyway, so of course I'm gonna have the AEW post shows and preview shows, of course, this weekend with Lauren Goodnight. So looking forward to that opportunity. So that's gonna be coming up very soon. Parrish, how about yourself, sir? Who are we gonna be rating? What do you got going? Oh.
We're going to be rating Nico Vibes, who is playing WWE 2K23. We'll keep that going as I think it's a great little addition to the fact that everywhere you can find me, if it's on my socials here at Twitter, Chris Parrish, Instagram, Chris.Parrish, you can find me every Mondays at the Monday Night Raw Watch Along. That's for the next 2 Mondays. I'll be there in entirety this time. So you'll be able to see this goofball every Monday night for all 3 hours. And then every Wednesday night at about 10:05 Eastern, you can see myself and good old Ed as we battle the 2K23 GM mode with Wrestle Draft. And then also make sure that you sliding down here next Sunday, May 28th at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, as you catch a very historic episode of Busting Out, as it's our 40th birthday. Yeah, we're turning the big 4-0. So come celebrate with Busting Out, as this show has its 40th episode. So I am just getting the raid ready as we speak. So in about 10 seconds, you'll be directed to one Nico Vibe. So please give him the love, the support you have given us. We like to call that the OLE way. You should be rated right now. As for the people on YouTube, we just want to say thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. And for today, you've been busted.